Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Pradeep from Medical Affairs team of Dr. Reddy's. On behalf of Dr. Reddy's and Hematology team, I welcome you all. As we ever, March month is globally recognized as Myeloma Awareness Month. Our team in this month tried to organize meeting with eminent faculties to spread this awareness. In that regard, we are delighted to collaborate with Dr. Sachin Gupta sir, hemato-oncologist from Max Hospital, Mohali. In regards to academics, sir has done MD, MBBS, followed by MD in General Medicine and pursued DNB in Medical Oncology. Apart academics, Sir is a member of various organizations, which includes American Society of Clinical Oncology, European Society of Medical Oncology, and European Hematology Association. His areas of interest includes hematological malignancies, which includes leukemia, lymphoma, and multiple myeloma as well. Sir has nearly 18 years of experience in clinical practice. Without making further delay, I'll take the privilege to invite Dr. Sachin Gupta, sir. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Pradeep, and thank you, Dr. Reddy's, for giving me this opportunity to talk to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have a set of questions which is commonly addressed by the layperson, and if you can address that, it will be of great help to the listeners, sir.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So,
Let me know.
yes, sir. To start with, we'll start with our main question. What is multiple myeloma, sir? Can you simplify it? And
Yeah, for layman and in common language, we can say that multiple myeloma is a malignancy which is related to blood cells, right? So there are specific cells called as plasma cells which are there in our bone marrow. Now, these plasma cells are mainly responsible for immunity against infections. So these, help in formation of antibodies. And so multiple myeloma is basically is malignancy of these plasma cells in the bone marrow. So plasma cells start multiplying uncontrolled and they fill the whole marrow and lead to various manifestations and symptoms, which we can discuss further. So it is a very common blood malignancy. So after say blood cancers, this is number two blood malignancy, which is commonly seen.
thank you, sir, for bringing the importance of multiple myeloma. Sir, in which age group does it been very common, sir?
Yeah, so usually multiple myeloma is a malignancy of elderly population. So in Western world, it is more common above say 60, 65 years of age. But in our country, all these diseases are more common about 10 years, before the Western age group. So it's even after 50, 52 years, up to 65 years, we see a lot of patients. But it's of course disease of the elderly.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how does the patients present if they have multiple myeloma, sir? What are the
Yeah,
common
so
symptoms,
so
sir?
this is very important to discuss, and good you have asked this question. Now, as I said, there are plasma cells in the bone marrow. Now, these plasma cells, what do? They are responsible for producing immunoglobulin molecules. So, immunoglobulins are basically what? Antibodies, right? Now, because of uncontrolled production of these antibodies, so these antibodies are proteins, so they are present in the blood circulation. So these patients may present with increased this antibodies in the blood, but these antibodies are not effective antibodies. So a lot of proteins, increased proteins are there. Now these proteins can damage the kidneys. So a kidney damage is one of the main manifestation, and patients, a lot of patients present with renal dysfunction. So kidney dysfunction, kidney failure, or increase in urea creatinine, decrease in urine output. So these things can happen. Then myeloma, this plasma cells and myeloma can damage the bones. So what happens that bones become very fragile, weak, and they can fracture easily. And so many patients, majority of patients may present with back pain, low back pain, or anywhere in the back, and other bones may also get affected and may become painful. Now fractures can also happen. A lot of times myeloma patients, they present with fractures first time, right? And once these bones starts getting damaged, so there is also the calcium levels in the blood can rise. So many patients may present with increase in the this thing calcium levels, and because of increased calcium level, patient may have a lot of other symptoms like loss of appetite, vomiting, constipation, indigestion, and this increased calcium can also lead to more kidney damage. And so another manifestation is low blood. So because these plasma cells are occupying a lot of space in the bone marrow, the normal cells get suppressed. So patient have decreased hemoglobin, so which we call as anemia. So because of anemia and low HB, the patients would be having fatigue. So they would tire out easily and don't feel energetic, and they will restrict their activities and get breathless on little small activities. And also these patients are more prone to infections, so they may have, because the immunity system is down, these plasma cells, they are not producing good antibodies for protection, so the patients are more prone to infections. So these are the common symptoms, but depending upon in what organs the cells may go, and the level of damage they have already done, there may be other symptoms also. But this is a broad symptom criteria I've told you.
Thank you, sir. That gives a clarity to the listeners. Sir, moving further, we have gone with symptoms. How to take further, sir? How to diagnose multiple myeloma?
Yeah. So mainly the patients first present to their physician or to orthopedicians or to kidney specialists also because of the symptoms in the bone and the kidney failure. So from there they get referred to medical oncologist or hemato-oncologist. And the diagnosis is very rather simple, and even few x-rays, simple x-rays like x-ray of the skull, x-ray of the vertebra, x-ray of the pelvis may pick up the bone lesions, right? So these are very specific lytic lesions. And simple blood tests like CBC, ESR. So we'll get high ESR in myeloma patients, low hemoglobin, and sometimes platelets and TLC may also be low. And the LFTs, the liver function test, would a lot of times show a rise in globulins, right? So we have albumin globulin ratio. The globulins levels would be high because of these immunoglobulin molecules in the blood. And we can the calcium levels we have to test, they may be high. And the kidney function test may show urea creatinine high. And very specific tests like serum protein electrophoresis is there, which is a blood test which will pick up these antibodies, the immunoglobulin molecules, and the rise in this the level of these antibodies would give a spike in this test. And then there is serum free kappa lambda light chain test, serum protein immunofixation test. So these are specific tests for picking up these immunoglobulin molecules, right? And then we have bone marrow examination, which is very important. And so we pick up this bone marrow sample, the liquid bone marrow also, and a piece of a biopsy piece also. And now this bone marrow examination would show increase in the number of plasma cells. So normally they are just less than 2%, but any high number of plasma cells would suggest multiple myeloma, and we have to correlate with other blood tests then. And then we'll have to we check with the x-rays of whole of the body, and sometimes CT scans, MRI of the spine, even PET scan can be done, in not in all cases, but wherever required, to find out any other organ involvement and soft tissue involvement. So that also is helpful sometimes. So these are the main tests. And on bone marrow, we do some special tests like this karyotyping, and so there are some fish studies, fluorescent in situ hybridization, where we find out any change in the gene pattern. So translocations, deletions of genes, which help us in in the prognostication of the disease of the patient. So these are some higher special tests which we do commonly.
Thank you, sir. Definitely, it gives an idea why we are doing with
Yeah.
the whole set of tests. Sir, next is a very commonly addressed by most people is myeloma as treatable cancer, sir.
Yes, definitely. Myeloma is not only treatable, it is the treatment highly benefits the patient. So majority of patients can, go back to normal life, and they may live for many many years. And the prognosis with there are so many medications and good drugs available for treatment of myeloma. And so broadly we have to uh, do certain things for these patients. Like, one is correction of the anemia thing, and which we can give by erythropoietin injections, by blood transfusion, and by treatment also leads to a rise in hemoglobin when the disease comes under control. And we have to control the calcium levels with the bisphosphonate injections, and supplement later on supplement this calcium by oral intake. And also there are some bones which may be fractured, they may have to be fixed. Radiation therapy also has a role, and especially if there are soft tissue lesions and a lot of vertebra are involved. So for that, radiation therapy helps in pain control and as well as disease control in these areas. And then the other medicine treatment, which includes mainly drugs like dexamethasone, prednisolone, and there are very simple and easily available injections like bortezomib. Cyclophosphamide is another drug. Then lenalidomide, pomalidomide, and we have monoclonal antibodies. So they're very new and higher drugs which are very effective for this. And of course, cost is higher for the newer drugs, but we have very simple, cost-effective, easily available drugs for treatment of this disease. So treatment mainly revolves around bone health, controlling the renal symptoms, um, then controlling pain. So the pain medicines have to be used because a lot of bones may already be affected. And usually the patient's disease gets controlled within few weeks to few months. And subsequently, patient may be taken up for autologous stem cell transplant. So younger patients, especially those who are less than 60, 65 years of age, would be eligible for autologous transplants. And elderly patients would may not undergo transplant, but maintenance treatment continues in these patients also. So majority patients would live for many, many years with this treatment, but of course treatment continues. It's a long treatment, and maintenance treatment is also there. So there can be periods of remission and relapses. And one thing I would like to highlight is that some patients who present with renal failure, and if the renal dysfunction is too much, so they may have bad prognosis. So their disease may be difficult to control, and the chances of not getting this benefit are higher in those patients. And also it depends upon the disease biology, that what kind of genetic changes have happened in a particular patient. So some patients are good prognostics depending upon their this genetic studies, and some patients have bad prognosis.
Thank you, sir. This gives a broad idea of what are the treatment available and how to take further. So I think it clarifies most of the types which laypersons are having. Sir, before we end, what is the prognosis, sir, with multiple myeloma?
Yeah, as I just highlighted few of these points. So we have some prognostic staging system and criteria, and some specific criteria various stages and prognostic categories: high risk and standard risk, low risk. So, which would be difficult to discuss in this forum. But as specialists, we do upfront staging and prognostication when we diagnose these patients. And so we try to bring the patients into remission by upfront treatment, which means giving steroids, giving bortezomib injections, giving cyclophosphamide or lenalidomide, this oral tablets or capsules. And once the patient's disease comes under control, there is tendency to do transplant. So this transplantation, which is autologous transplantation, especially in younger patients. So those who are less than 60 or 65 years. So that would again depend upon patient's fitness level. So those who are able to undergo transplant have even better prognosis. Their disease control may be better than those who do not undergo this autologous transplant. And of course, the maintenance treatment continues. So the treatment continues on and on for many, many months and years.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It would have great help to most of the listeners, I guess. And you have covered and you have thrown light on most of the questions which they are having. Like, what is this definition, how they present, how to take further, and the treatment modalities as well you have covered, sir. I sincerely hope it gives a clarity to most of them. Once again, I'd like to thank you, sir, for your time and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.